His friend Calvisius, pay your penny and hear this princely story, or rather stories, for this latest one has reminded me of earlier ones, and it does not matter which to begin with for preference. Verania, wife of Piso, I mean the Piso whom Gaba adopted, lay seriously ill. Regulus approached her. To begin with, what cheek! His coming to a sick woman when he had been bitterly hostile to her husband, who had utterly hated the sight of him. Enough said, if he had merely come. But he also sat close to her couch and asked her the day and hour of her birth. On hearing this, he rearranged his features, concentrated his gaze, pursed his lips, juggled his fingers, and made a calculation. Then nothing more. After keeping the poor lady on tender hooks for ages, he states, "This is a critical time for you that you will survive. To ensure that you get a clearer picture, I shall consult a soothsayer, whom I have often tried out. He there and then conducted a sacrifice and claimed that the entails were in harmony with the message of the stars. The lady was disposed to believe him in her hour of danger. She asked for additions to be made to her will and appended a legacy for Regulus. Then her illness got worse. On her deathbed she cried out that he was a weak deceiver, worse than the perjurer, for the oath that he had sworn was on the survival of his own son. This conduct of Regulus is as barbaric as it is frequent. He calls down the god's anger, which he himself daily beguiles upon the head of an unfortunate boy. Flavius Blasius, the rich ex-consul known to you, was struggling in final illness. He wished to alter his will. Regulus, only hoping to obtain something for the new one, for he had recently begun to pay court to him, urged and begged the physicians to prolong the man's life in any way they could. Once the will was witnessed, he became a different man, changed his tune, and said to the physicians, "For long are you going? For how long are you going to torture the poor fellow? Why do you begrudge him an assiduate when you cannot prolong his life?" Blasius died, and as though he had heard every word, he left Regulus not a penny. Are these two stories enough? Or do you demand a third in accord to the scholar's law? There is another at hand. Aurelia, a well-endowed lady, had put on some very fine garments before signing her will. Regulus turned up to witness it and said, "Please bequeath to me those garments." Aurelia thought that he was joking, but he was serious in his insistence. To cut a long story short, he prevailed on the woman to open up the document and to bequeath the garments she was wearing to him. He watched her as he appended it and looked it over to see whether she had done so. In fact, Aurelia is still alive, but he put the pressure upon her as though she were on her deathbed. And this, mind you, is the man who accepts inheritances and legacies as though he earns them. Mais pourquoi je me fâche? In this country, in this community for a long time, no weakness and dishonesty have gained no less, and indeed greater, reward than have decency and virtue. Cast your eye on Regulus. Though his crimes he had risen from poor and humble circumstances to such great wealth that, as he himself told me, when he was working out how quickly he would reach 60 million sesterces, he had come across a twin set of entrails which possessed that he would attain 120 million. He certainly will, if he continues as he began, and dictates the terms of wills not his own to the people to whom they belong. This is the most disreputable type of world in existence. Farewell.